It is the 2nd of the 7th, 2025. The time is 6 minutes past 10. There is one topic today on the F1 docket, and that is, of course, Max Verstappen. There is breaking news. Sky Sports Italy saying that there is a deal agreed between Mercedes, Toto the boy who cried wolf, and Max, forcing to be five-time champion, Emilian Verstappen. Oh, the humanity. We will go through it, what they've said, the permutation, because there are wrinkles, different people saying different things as we go into round 12, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Oh, the humanity. Here's what they've said in the article, and it gets techier than techie things chat as far as the... Listen, yeah, no, your boy's been over here reading different things, but here's the report that we need to take hold of. We need to review two different reports, one on Speedcast that sources Sky Sports Italy, and these guys are saying this, that according to the team, the negotiation between Max Verstappen and Mercedes have entered the heart of the matter. Translation error. The Dutchman has said yes to Toto Wolff's offer, but part of the Silver Arrows board has not yet given the green light to the arrival of the soon-to-be five-time champion. Could a rekindled flame be approaching? This is where it gets techier than techie things. It's nothing to do with desire. Of course, there is mens rea. Toto wants it, and so too Maximilian Verstappen wants it, realising now that the Bulls that are red don't have a hope in hell of winning anything in 2025, much less 2026, when they've got to deal with a very many different spinning plates, rule reg change, power unit, focus on it, 50% internal combustion, 50% electric. How are Red Bull going to manage for that? Christian Horner's got a lot going on in the background of the litigation variety, if indeed you want to believe in F1 conjecture and speculation. So how are they going to deal with that? They couldn't even keep the last airbender, Adrian Newey, Jonathan Wheatley, sports director, Rob Marshall, the last airbender. They couldn't even keep these bods. So how do you think they're going to cope with building a power unit that's fit for purpose in 2026? Maximilian thinks not, and that's why this dude is desperate now to go and join the boys and girls from Brackley and Brixworth. Now, can Toto, the boy who cried wolf, get authorization per the shareholders? Well, he is one of them, though. He just got a 50 million US dollar dividend. He's a 33% owner in conjunction with, of course, Jim Ratcliffe and Ola of Daimler. What are we doing here, chat? Of course he can go and get that. Why? Because there's a couple different things why you go and get Maximilian Verstappen. Franz Tost said that Max Verstappen is worth anywhere up to 2/10 on the rest. 2/10 on the rest on any given Sunday. That's material. That's under, of course, the umbrella heading of performance. In the second instance, Mercedes need themselves a champion to replace Lewis Hamilton. From a commercial side of things, Mercedes are Mercedes, and there is brand. Some say that Max Verstappen and who he is as a driver and a person is not compatible with that brand necessarily, a bellwether in the automotive industry. I would offer this as a rebuttal. You need yourself a champion to fill a champion's boots in Sir Lewis Hamilton. No. Surely that's the most obvious thing going. More obvious than obvious things. And of course, if you talk to the likes of WhatsApp, IWC, the sponsors of Mercedes, who offer up material financial resources to the boys and girls from Brackley and Brixworth each and every single year, they will want somebody to replace a Sir Lewis, Carl, Davidson, Hamilton. That dude, you see him doing all these different commercial commitments, opening up Fanatec stores. You see him with Lululemon. He's a marketing behemoth. Lewis Hamilton is not a businessman. He is a business, man. Shout out to Jay-Z. And there is a difference. Maximilian Verstappen, soon to be a five-time champion, is exactly the same thing, singing from the Lewis Hamilton hymn sheet now. And that's why Toto Wolff, in the second instance, will be desperate to sign himself one Maximilian Verstappen. Oh, and by the way, here's where it gets a bit wrinkly. And this is important because we know that there are performance clauses in the contract, and they are cited by Sky Sports Italy in this article, now claiming that the negotiations between Max and Toto are concrete. that there is agreement, mens rea. Max Verstappen now definitively wants to leave the balls that are red, the house that Christian Horner built, and go across to the boys and girls from Brackley and Brixworth. But this is, of course, at the altar of a performance clause. Now, we know that Max has always had these in his contract. Father of Max, Jos, keen to make sure that his career, his son's career, doesn't fall at the same hurdles that he's did. Poor decisions as far as team driver pairing. Michael Schumacher, then he was always going to get the goods, the priority as far as setup. Back in 2018, Max Verstappen nearly left the team, the Red Bull team then, because they weren't providing with the goods a car fit for purpose. Jos Verstappen has always made sure that Team Verstappen, Raymond Vermeulen, have always instituted performance clauses in his contract. The conversation that we're having is around what those performance clauses say as at July of 2025. This is where we get techie, because Sky Sports say, as far as the driver's standings, Max can null and void his contract with Red Bull, which should expire in 2028, in 2025 in real time, if, as at the summer break at the end of July, he's outside of the top 3 in the Drivers' Championship. That's why you see this. Max Verstappen currently sits at third, 155 points, some way adrift of Oscar Piastri in first. However, it's close between Max and George, is it not? 9 points is the difference between third and fourth. If Sky Sports have it right, Sky Sports Italy, I'll have you know, then it could get techier than techie things. But there are 2 legs. The Drivers' Championship standing is only the first. Now, Sky Sports say it's third. If he's in fourth, then Max Verstappen can null and void his contract. Julian said solely, however, for the avoidance of doubt, or F1 journals are created equally. Some are created more equal than others. Julian says that it's not third, it's second, and I'm inclined to believe her. If I know anything about Jos Verstappen, I know that he would have baked in all the favourable terms into Maximilian Verstappen's contract. Now, this is me. This is conjecture and speculation now. But if you're Max Verstappen, Jos, Raymond Vermeulen, keen to avoid the mistakes that Jos Verstappen's career fell foul of, then of course you put second. Why would Max Verstappen be in third? He's competing for a championship, or at least that's what he's supposed to be doing if Red Bull have given him an RB21 set, fair, fit for purpose, commensurate for a championship challenge of the driver's variety. I think you can take this to the bank. I think it's second. Therefore, if Maximilian Verstappen is third or lower at the end of July, going into the summer break, I think that's leg 1 of his performance clause. In the second instance, third in the constructors for Red Bull, and they are nowhere near, lest we forget, currently it's McLaren a gazillion miles down the road in the constructors. Shortly thereafter, you have Ferrari, and then from memory, it's Mercedes, because Red Bull are doing what Christian Horner said they can't do. They are trying to run a race with 1 leg. Yuki Tsunoda is nowhere to be seen. This is techie, chat. This is genuinely techie. I think Max Verstappen is about to null and void his contract at the altar of 2 performance stipulations. Therefore, the first, per Julian Cerasoli, if Maximilian Verstappen at the end of July, within the next 30 days or less, is outside of the top 2, as he is in real time, Maximilian Verstappen can null and void his contract. So too, if in the Constructors' Championship, Red Bull are lower than 4th, Maximilian Verstappen again can null and void his contract. Currently, as at the time of writing on the 2nd of the 7th, 2025, at 15 minutes past 10, currently Red Bull and Max Verstappen's standing in the championship, the drivers and constructors respectively, currently they satisfy both of those performance clauses, meaning that Max, Raymond, Jos can null and void Maximilian Verstappen's contract in real time with Red Bull. He will not stay there. I'm telling you, of course, this is conjecture and speculation. Of course it is 1000%. But sometimes you need to put on your F1 investigative cap and connect the dots. This is not apophenia. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not F1 Fermat's last theorem. This is just maths. basic arithmetic. Why would Max Verstappen want to stay? And again, I will reiterate, this is important. Last year when he was asked at the driver's press conference, are you going to stay, Max? You got a contract through to 2028. Are you keen to be part of the Red Bull family? 3 times they asked him, and only on the 3rd time did the affirmative, the word yes, come out of Maximilian Verstappen's mouth. The first 2 times, Max Verstappen danced around the subject topic, and his answers amounted to this. I would need a couple of things if I'm to stay at Red Bull. In the first instance, I would need myself a car. Does he have that? No, absolutely not. You saw the qualifying at the Austrian Grand Prix. Now more than ever, he does not have the car. Pierre Vacher and Enrico Balbo were meant to step up to the Adrian Newey plate to supersede him, to work in a way that was autonomous and independent, to minimise for the key man dependency of Adrian Newey. They have not. Max Verstappen in the second instance responded that he will need a semblance of harmony. What is going on? Christian Horner now, Max Verstappen says he might need to leave again. The Verstappens forgive, but they never forget. Misconduct allegation gate still swirling around in the background. And in the third instance, Max Verstappen said he will need the key personnel to stay at the team capable of building a race car and a championship campaign. Here's where we are, chat. Rob Marshall gone. Adrian Newey, Gonzo. Who else? Sports director Jonathan Wheatley, the dude who at the Suzuka Grand Prix a couple of moons ago was able to comb through the sporting code of conduct and the rules and regs and advised the FIA that on the back of a curtailed Suzuka Grand Prix that they could still award Maximilian Verstappen the requisite points for him to win the championship that year. That's who they've lost, and that's who they haven't replaced. So I don't think the question is, does Max want to leave? Will he sign with Mercedes? I think the better question is, why, ladies and gentlemen of the F1 jury, as at the 2nd of the 7th, 2025, why would he stay?